Ms. Davis, you claim you got pregnant with Mr. Hamb's child after knowing him for only 2 months. You've petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that Mr. Hamb is the father of your 1-month-old baby, Jarrell Hamb Jr. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're suing him for $1,500 for the cost of the baby shower gifts that you say Mr. Hamb took from you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Hamb, you say Ms. Davis was dating 2 other men, and you are certain that you are not the father of her child.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so Mr. Hamb, how can you be so sure this child is not yours?
First, Your Honor, I'd like to start off by giving you a little background of how me and Brandy met.
Please do.
I was in my car, just came from getting a haircut. I was looking good in my car. Me and Brandy has the same exact car, just different colors. She was looking pretty, too, I'm not gonna lie. She looking pretty attractive. She flagged me down to stop me so we could switch numbers. When we switched numbers, we started talking on the phone within those same exact hours. So during that time, we agreed to meet up. When I'm thinking we meeting up, I'm thinking it's just gonna be me and Brandy. When I pull up to the lake, after we agreed, that's where we agreed to go to the lake. When I pull up at the lake, she got a whole crowd of people surrounding her car. So as I get closer, Miss Davis then comes and approaches my car. We start having a conversation. As me and Miss Davis having a conversation, one of her female friends comes up to the car and say, well, your boyfriend is getting upset due to the fact that you over here disrespecting him by talking to another man.
Did you remember someone coming up to you and saying
No,
your boyfriend
nobody came
mad?
up to me. Nobody came up to me because it wasn't my boyfriend.
Did you have a boyfriend at the time?
Yes, I did have a boyfriend at the time.
You did?
But that wasn't him.
But that particular person wasn't him?
She had 2 boyfriends. That was just the first boyfriend. That was just the first boyfriend.
You mad?
That was just the first boy. That was the first
was my boyfriend.
Second boyfriend.
That was my
That's
first
the second
boyfriend.
So it's your testimony, Mr. Hamb, she had more than one boyfriend.
Yes, Your Honor, and she's married too, and she's still technically married now. She's not divorced now, she's still technically married. And she had 2 boyfriends too. So this is why I'm in a point where, okay, this can't really be my child due to the fact that she had all these boyfriends, and then at the end of the day, I come to find she's married too, so I don't know what to believe.
At some point after you're at this lake and you start talking, you have a sexual relationship.
Ma'am, she got in the car with me, and we left that same day, and we had unprotected sex that same day. We had sex that same day. And after we had sex that day, we was like peas, she was on my heels, we was together.
How can you be with somebody after 2 days of knowing them? How can you be with somebody?
You slept with me the first day.
You didn't even, so what? You had.
So what? But you just said it was the second day.
Okay, look, you had unprotected.
And I'm not lying. Yeah, we did. The first day I met you.
How
I'm
can
not
you be in
lying
a
about
relationship
that.
with somebody you just met?
Okay.
Wow.
I'm not saying I was right for
Miss
sleeping
Davis.
for the first. I'm a
Yes,
guy.
Your Honor.
Miss Davis, you say there was another man, that you did have a boyfriend.
I had a whole boyfriend.
And a husband.
Treated me
you
good.
also
husband separated.
So wait, you had a husband you were separated from and a boyfriend, and you slept with Mr. Hamb on the second day?
Boyfriend legally separated. Second day, and yes, I did sleep with him. Yes, I did.
Okay. So you do understand why Mr. Hamb may have doubt?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Okay, good.
I do.
After you found out you were pregnant,
yes.
How did you tell Mr. Hamb?
I called his phone and told him I was pregnant. He was at work. I went to his job, and man was talking about it. He was happy, excited. Yes, I did. Went to your job. He was happy, excited.
So you felt like his reaction was that of excitement?
He was going to be there. He was going to help me out and do all this. Regardless of the fact that what went on in the past, he was going to be there.
And I gave her my word.
For me and my first son. I have 2 kids.
And due to the fact of what she was going through, I gave her my word as a man. And due to the fact that the situation with me and my father, I said, man, I'm going to be here regardless of what me and you got going on. I'm finna be here for this child due to the fact I didn't have
But is he here? Have he been here? He haven't been here.
But
he hasn't did nothing. They don't talk my first son, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Hamb, you told her you were going to be there.
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
But now you're in court saying the child is not yours.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
So tell me why you doubt it.
Well, me and her arguing, she told in front of my mother and auntie that this was not my child when the child was 4 weeks old.
I never did that.
She told this in front of my mother and auntie.
I never did that.
And the second time when we was arguing in front of her at her mother's house.
I said to you out of anger. Out of anger, yes, Your Honor, I did say that twice.
And then the second time in front of her own mother.
All right, one at a time, I want to understand this. So you're saying, Mr. Hamb, that in front of your family members, she says
I did not say that.
I was not the father of that child.
I said it to him in an argument.
It was getting heated, and it's to the point she was like, you know what? I'm just be honest. This ain't even your child, so you ain't got to worry about being here in this child. You ain't got to worry about doing that.
I didn't say it like that.
So I said,
I didn't say it like that.
That's what it got. That's when I completely snapped, because at the same time.
When was the window of time you and Mr. Hamb were intimate? Were you having unprotected?
All day, every day.
Yes, we was.
All day, every day.
Because of me.
Like I said,
because
once I had sex with her first night,
Miss Davis, around what time were you in this relationship? Did it begin?
It wasn't
a real
I got
relationship.
pregnant.
All right, and so
It wasn't even a relationship,
around the time you got pregnant, when your baby was conceived, what was the month?
August
So
20,
she's-
around August 25th.
The last week in August, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
All right, so the last week in August. Now, Mr. Hamb.
Yes, ma'am.
You do agree that you were having sex during
sex with her, yes.
the last week of August with Ms. Davis.
It was a whole
Yes.
month of August, a whole month before August too.
Boy, you was hitting
So-
me.
Yes.
So the whole month of August. All right,
ma'am.
just circle the whole month. All right,
ma'am.
now,
And
Ms.
before August too.
Davis,
Before
Ms.
August
Davis,
too.
when were you intimate with anyone else? Were you
The last-
intimate
The
with
same
anyone
time.
My
else?
boyfriend, yes, my boyfriend.
same-
And when was that?
I said the
The
beginning
same
of
time.
July, around July 10th, around that time. That was the last time we had sex.
Ms. Davis, you're saying you were still sleeping with your boyfriend in July.
Yeah, yes, in the beginning.
And
of
then
July.
you started sleeping with Mr. Ham in August or late July.
No,
We been
beginning of
started-
July.
we
Beginning
been-
of July.
We had sex, the first time we had sex was the second day we met, and we was having sex on and on every day.
And then but you were also having sex with your boyfriend
Yeah.
during
Yes.
that time.
And her
And I
other
stopped in
boyfriend
July.
too.
He broke up with me in July.
So now you say Jarrell was born early.
He was born in May. I conceived him at the end of August, and I was not
And
next
that
to my
was
boyfriend. We broke up.
earlier than anticipated.
Yes, ma'am, it was.
And so
yeah.
that is what adds to your doubt.
That put red lights, red beams, everything off in my head. I was in a 50-50 situation. Like, yeah, this could be man, but at the same time, it's too early.
So you felt like when Jarrell was born, the date he was born was too early
Yes,
for
ma'am.
the window of time that you were sleeping with her.
Yeah, she was spending time with me, but at the same time, she was spending time with somebody else during the same time she was spending with me. So I can't sit up here and say, yeah, I'm 100% sure that this is my baby.
Mr. Ham, you do acknowledge that your family came through a baby shower, gave gifts to the baby, but because you say you weren't certain whether or not the child was yours, you decided not to give the gifts to her,
Yes,
to
Your
the
Honor.
baby.
Yes, Your Honor. And at the same time, anywhere I go, I was gonna have to take the gifts to her because she had a car full of her friends and anything. So she didn't have nowhere to put the gifts.
But you admit you
Yes,
took them.
I took them to my house. I took the gifts to
Did
my
you
house.
ever get those gifts, Ms.
No,
Davis?
no, I didn't get nothing.
So, Ms. Davis, you're saying the value of those gifts was $1,500, am I
Yes, Your Honor.
correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Ham, do you agree that the value of these gifts were about $1,500?
Just about, yes, ma'am.
About?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. The point is this. There was a possibility that she was pregnant with your child.
Yes, ma'am. it
Your
was.
family stepped up and did what they thought was the
And I
right
did
thing
too.
and
And
had
I
a
did too.
baby
You did.
shower
Yes.
for a baby that might be yours. And at that shower, they gave gifts to the baby.
Right.
Key word is give. Once you give a gift, you cannot take it back. At this time, based on the evidence you presented, I have no choice but to rule in favor of the plaintiff for $1,500 because those gifts belong to the baby. In the case of Davis versus Ham, pertaining to 2-month-old Jarrell Ham Jr., it has been determined by this court. Mr. Ham, you are Jarrell's father.
Like I said, I don't have no problem with stepping up, but at the same time, I can't be in this child's life if she's trying to control me with this child.
It has been determined by this court that you are this child's biological father, which means as a father, you have rights.
But
You
ma'am-
have, listen, stop talking so much and listen. You have to take care of this baby financially, but you also will have the legal right to see the child. If you all can't work together, then you will have recourse in your home state to go to court and fight for visitation and a chance to help to raise your child. Ms. Davis, you have to let him be a part of this child's life because it's his child. Mr. Jacobs, you're on the birth certificate and paying child support for 3-year-old Samar, but say your ex is now telling people that you are not his biological father, and you're suing today to prove that Samar is your son.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Ms. Call, you admit to allowing Mr. Jacobs to name the baby, sign the birth certificate, and pay support for your son, but now say Samar's real biological father is another man, Mr. Daniel Cooper.
Yes, Your Honor.
But Mr. Cooper says there's no way he's your son's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Jacobs, how did you meet Miss Call?
Well, Your Honor, I met Miss Call on the train coming back from the gym. She sits in front of me, continuous staring at me. She compliments me on my eyes, and, you know, I said thank you, it's flattering. Like, I've been hearing that since I was little, so it's nothing new. And, you know, getting off the train, she's following me, and she comes upstairs, and, you know, being a gentleman that I am, I like to get to know her. I get to know her, I cook her a meal and everything like that. And hey,
This is after you met on the train?
yes.
The same day?
Yes, ma'am.
You followed him home, Miss Call?
We watched movies, we talked, we did get to know each other. We did have unprotected sex that night, Your Honor.
The day?
That same
day.
Your
You young people running around here having sex, I never heard of such. Just get on the bus, going somewhere, next thing you know, you in somebody's apartment having sex. Who does that? That's not funny. Now we've got a little person here that doesn't have a clue who his father is. How soon after that did you find out she was pregnant?
I would say about a month or so. You know, coming back home the first time, it was, you know, my neighbor had told me that, you know, a young lady had stopped by to look for you and everything like that. And the next day, she was actually sitting outside my apartment, and she was sitting with a friend. And, you know, she was fat and everything. She was big. And it was like, all right, you know, I'm pretty shocked by it. I asked, you know, would you like to go for a walk and everything like that? And that's when she had told me that she was pregnant and everything. So
That's not true. I was at home. I text Ernest because I was listening to a song by Usher, Confessions. And in the first verse of the song, it says that she was pregnant. She was keeping it. I told him to go listen to it. He texted me back. He said, "You're pregnant?" I told him yes. He started denying the baby straight from the back.
Yeah,
he told me it wasn't his, it was another guy's baby.
Yana,
After that, we stopped
That's
talking.
not true. That's not true at all. It's not true.
So when she said, "I'm pregnant," did she say, "and you're the father"?
No, she just said that she was pregnant.
And did you assume that she was saying that you were the father, or did
Correct,
you think
yes.
someone else could be?
Yes, Your Honor. I assumed that I was the father because, like I said, we had sex a lot, and a lot. So,
Okay, I got that.
It was good. So, I mean, I felt that I was the father at the moment. It was shocking to see her sitting outside, you know, being heavy and everything like that. And, you know, her telling me that she was pregnant, and I was surprised, and I would be happy to be a father and everything like that. But
So now, Miss Call, you say, go listen to this song and call me back. Did you tell him, you are my child's father, I'm pregnant and you're the child's father, or you just tell him go listen to a song?
No, Your Honor. When he texted me back, and then after he denied the baby, I did explain to him that it was a possibility. There was another guy that could be the father.
So you were
accepted that.
honest?
Yes.
So let's move forward a little bit. Take me to the birth. Now, after you find out she's pregnant, did you go to any doctor's appointments? Did you support her through it? Or the whole time you were thinking, I may not be the father?
I would ask her if I can go to the hospital with her. You know, can I come could I get a sonogram? She was telling me no.
Really? Did you tell him he couldn't go to the hospital or go to any of the appointments with you?
No, Your Honor. He never once asked me to go to any appointments, and if he did, why? If he's sitting there from the beginning telling me it's another guy's baby, why would he want to go with me to the doctor's appointment?
It's not true at all, Your Honor.
You went from not going to any doctor's appointments to signing the birth certificate.
Yes, ma'am.
How did we get there?
I was there for the whole birth.
The whole thing?
Yes, ma'am.
And you signed the birth certificate.
Correct.
Why did you sign the birth certificate? At that moment, were you sure you were this child's biological father?
Yes, Your Honor.
You were?
Yes.
And why were you sure?
I was sure about it because when she was in the C-section, they had brought Samar out to me and placed me in my arms and everything. And at that moment, when I said his name, he had opened up his eyes and he was looking at me. And at that time, I felt the connection between him and me. And the nurse there told me, like, you know, that's a rare thing for that to happen. You know, usually the babies don't open up their eyes.
To keep their eyes closed, and when he opened his eyes, you felt like that was a sign.
That was a sign, correct.
So your mother said, do not sign this. She said, do not.
Yes.
But you signed it anyway.
Correct.
So this is here where you acknowledged paternity, Ernest Lee Jacobs, even though your mother told you don't do it.
Correct. And then,
so your name is on this birth certificate, and you're in this courtroom trying to prove that Samar is your biological child.
Right.
Your Honor, can I say
Because-
something?
But Ms. Call, now, after he signed the birth certificate, paying child support, he's responsible legally for this child, you're now saying he's not the father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Cooper, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
You had a sexual relationship with Ms. Call, am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
She has testified in court today that she believes that you are Samar's biological father. Do you believe you are
No,
her
Your
child's
Honor.
father?
No, Your Honor, not at all. Not at all. Because Miss Call, she was real promiscuous. She was out there. She had a crazy reputation.
Did she tell you you were the father, or did she tell you Mr. Jacobs was the father?
Man, she was trying to hint that I was the father, but I wasn't hearing it. I shut it all down. And then next thing you know, she fell back. And I seen her again after she had the baby. So the whole pregnancy, I
So
ain't
when
seen
you
it.
said she was trying to hint, what was the hint?
She was just like, I'm pregnant, and, you know, like, she was getting a little bigger, but I'm like, man, that ain't mine. You doing whatever you do. Like, you come over at night and leave in the morning, so.
But that's how you make babies.
Yeah, but she was doing her.
Last I heard, Jerome.
Absolutely true.
So did you know that she also had Mr. Jacobs in the picture and that he had signed the birth certificate and was paying child support?
Yes, I found that out after she had the baby. She told me that he signed a birth certificate and that it was his.
Yes.
That what
yes,
she
Your
told
Honor.
me?
We actually spoke. We
Yeah,
actually spoke
so-
when I was living in Niagara Falls. We actually had communication, and the same way, I was helping her out, giving her formula and diapers too, and he was telling me that she wanted to do a DNA test, but she never came around to do it. So he didn't really know who the father was, and I was just stuck being the father.
In the case of Jacobs versus Call, pertaining to whether Mr. Cooper or Mr. Jacobs is the father of 3-year-old Samar Jacobs, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Cooper, you are not the father.
I knew it.
Mr. Jacobs, you are not the father.
What the? Oh, hold up. Wait a minute. Calm down.
Whoa.
Review that. You say what?
Miss
Slow
Call,
down.
you don't seem that surprised. I've sat this bench long enough to know a real reaction. You're not surprised.
There's a couple more people.
A couple more people.
Yo, what?
Told you. I was lying.
Okay. Look, ain't no shame in the game now. I mean, the results are in. Do you know where these men are? This may require some research on your part because your baby deserves to know who his father is.